Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror drama film, The Toxic Avenger. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins by talking about the wonders of modern technology. However, despite all the progress made in the world, it has led to the creation of tons of pollution. We are then taken to the fictional city of Tromaville, which is the toxic waste capital of the world. There, the narration introduces us to a goofy janitor named Melvin, whose life is about to change thanks to toxic waste. A group of bodybuilders have a lot of fun dancing, working out on their bodies, and even their hormones at the gym. In the middle of this, Melvin tries to clean the gym, but is shown to be useless at his job. This annoys the gym's bully, and he wants to teach Melvin a lesson for being a loser. Suddenly, Melvin is told to clean the toilet, but he accidentally dips his mop in the hot tub, where Bully is getting comfy with his girlfriend, Blondie. Now Bully and his friend, Funky, decide to harass Melvin in front of everyone. Even as this happens, Bully feels that his karma is getting messed up, so he walks away to work out some more. Meanwhile, Melvin tries to flex his own muscles in front of the mirror, but can only see a skinny arm. Bully notices some fat on his belly, so he goes even crazier with his workout. Funky isn't interested in this kind of exercise, so he goes to wrestle his muscles with his girlfriend, Babe. They go to the locker room area, where they notice an article talking about a mysterious killer, but it only turns them on because they love the sight of murder. Now, Babe rips off her clothes and tongue massages Funky. Melvin hears their annoying noises and walks in on them, but just stands there like a creep. Babe notices Melvin in front of her, so she threatens to kill him, as does Funky. This prompts Melvin to cry like a chicken and run away. Later at night, the two couples go for a drive, but make plans to attack all kinds of people for no good reason. They notice a little boy riding his cycle and make him their next target. In a brutal sequence, they crash the car into the boy and celebrate the murder. However, the boy survives the attack, so Bully goes back and smashes his head to get the job done. Bully and his evil friends go crazy with joy over killing the boy, but Bully isn't satisfied and wants to do it again. That's when Funky says he has to go back home because he has church in the morning. The next day, Funky plays a prank on the gym instructor by slipping a snake into his shirt. This leads the instructor to make funny movements, and his students perform the same movements, thinking that this is part of their training. Later, Bully and his friends notice Melvin again and decide to take care of him once and for all. Blondie walks up to Melvin and seduces him with her blonde body, so he's ready to do whatever she says. Blondie invites him to the locker room, and he follows her like an excited puppy. Meanwhile, a couple of drivers are seen driving a truck full of toxic chemicals, and they park the truck right outside the gym. Once they enter the locker room, Blondie gives Melvin a peek at her body, and it drives him crazy. She then convinces him to wear a funny dress with a pink skirt. Melvin does it instantly, and then Blondie leads him to the pool area and shuts off the lights. Melvin can feel someone close to him, so he starts to hug the body, but this turns out to be a goat wearing lipstick. Everyone is standing right there, and they make fun of Melvin for being a loser. This becomes too much for Melvin to take, so he runs away in total embarrassment. The gym crowd chases him after his smell, so he eventually jumps out of the window. However, Melvin lands straight into the truck filled with toxic chemicals and gets covered in green slime. The gym crowd watches on as Melvin suffers and burns in front of them, but Bully says that they can't take Melvin seriously because he stinks. A couple of cops arrive at the scene and try to help Melvin, but it's of no use because touching him only lights their hands on fire. Melvin can't take the pain anymore, so he runs to his home and locks himself inside the bathroom so that he can relax in the tub. His mom tries to check up on him while he makes weird noises, but then she thinks that her son is going through puberty. However, the truth is that Melvin is transforming into a toxic beast with mutated muscles, thanks to all the toxic chemicals penetrating his body. Melvin jumps out of his house in this new form and wanders around aimlessly. At night, a bunch of goons are making a plan to bribe a cop so that he can make it easier for them to commit drug crimes. However, the cop doesn't accept the bribe and challenges the goons, so he gets beaten up mercilessly. Eventually, the cop gets a gun pointed at his smelly parts, and things aren't looking good for him. Luckily, Melvin shows up in his monster form and attacks the goons. The cop seemingly recognizes the monster to be Melvin, but believes that he must be mistaken. A fierce encounter follows, where Melvin thrashes the goons in a brutal fashion. He goes on to smash their heads into mashed potato and even ends up killing two of them, after which he leaves a mop as his calling card. Melvin does leave the goon leader alive, although he breaks his smelly parts in the process. After the goon leader runs away, Melvin walks up to the cop and apologizes for losing his composure. Melvin returns the cop's cap, so the cop smiles at him before running away as fast as he can. Later, the cop gives an interview about what had happened and thanks Melvin for saving his life even though he is a monster. This news of a monster hero in town makes it all over the TVs and newspapers, so the cops decide to look into the matter. Later, Babe decides to chill in the sauna, but is scared by a monster under a cloth. It just turns out to be Funky in disguise, so she decides to have some fun with him. Melvin goes to see his mom, but only ends up scaring her, so she shuts the door in his face. Melvin has to find a new place to stay, so he chooses a garbage dump, which is good enough for his toxic body. He keeps a picture of his mom close to his bed and takes a nap, while a fat mayor named Mayor Fatty is having a business meeting with his assistants around dancing women. They discuss setting up a new toxic plant inside the city, despite it being a health hazard for everyone living here. The next morning, the city folk enjoy a normal day at the cafe, but then a bunch of goons break into the cafe and threaten to kill them if they don't give in to their demands. A psycho goon harasses the customers in the cafe by pointing his shotgun at them. A man tries to stop the psycho goon, but unfortunately, he gets shot by his shotgun. Things get even worse when the goons harass and assault a blind girl named Miss Blind. Her dog tries to defend her, but gets killed immediately. The goon boss tries to outrage Miss Blind by flipping her on the table, but luckily, Melvin shows up to teach the goons a lesson. Now Melvin brutally thrashes the goon boss by ripping off his arm, and then he smacks the psycho goon away with minimum effort. A ninja goon tries to use his weapons to fight Melvin, but it's of no use as Melvin throws him into the kitchen after a brief showdown. The psycho goon tries one last attack, but Melvin turns him into a cake by using baking ingredients. He kills the psycho goon, after which he takes the ninja goon and fries his hands into French fries inside the oil fryer. This leaves the goon boss, who is put into the oven to be baked till his bones turn mushy. Now that Melvin has won the fight, he takes Miss Blind home, reassuring her that she's safe with him. They go back to her place, but Miss Blind accidentally hits Melvin in his vulnerable thing with her cane. Despite this, the both of them form a friendship. Now, the cops come to the scene of the crime at the cafe and investigate the chefs who witness everything. They mention Melvin saving them from the goons, but are also delirious in the way they speak. Miss Blind wants to touch Melvin's face, but he is too shy to reveal his ugly scars. Regardless, Miss Blind convinces him to at least give her his giant hand. She says that Melvin has a lot of good things coming his way, and then she asks for his other hand, but accidentally touches his little Melvin. News spreads fast of Melvin saving the cafe from the goons, and he is termed as a monster hero. Even a doctor is asked about Melvin's intentions, and he reveals that Melvin might be inclined toward killing evil as part of his mutation. Meanwhile, Mayor Fatty snacks on another meal at the gym, while the bodybuilders enjoy themselves, hoping to build their bulletproof muscles. Mayor Fatty's assistant is also here, and he goes to exercise his weak leg. That's when Melvin arrives, flexes his mutated muscles, and terrorizes everyone at the gym. The bodybuilders run their muscles away from him, but he manages to catch Mayor Fatty's assistant. Melvin smashes his face against the gym weights mercilessly. Then, he goes down to the spa room, where Babe tries to rub herself with pleasure next to the pool. Melvin notices Babe and walks up to her with a cloth on top of his face, just like Funky had done earlier. Babe mistakes Melvin for being Funky, so she takes off the towel in order to get freaky with him. However, Melvin reveals his meaty face and burns Babe by placing her on top of the heater. Later, Melvin takes a leak in an alley and is solicited by a creepy pimp who offers him a little girl. Melvin immediately strangles the pimp and beats him up. After that, he also takes on the pimp's goons. After winning this battle, Melvin rescues the little girl and takes her away to safety. Later, Bully and his friends try to kill some more kids on the street, but Melvin saves them as well. As he continues to fight crime and help the residents of the city, Melvin becomes a local hero and somewhat of a mutated celebrity as well. Because of his actions, the city's jails become overcrowded with criminals. This is a cause of concern for Mayor Fatty because he's revealed to be the mastermind behind all the crimes in the city. He wants to kill Melvin, so he sends his goons to attack him in an alley at night. Melvin is confronted by these goons as they threaten him with their guns. However, they are all outsmarted when Melvin jumps in the air and makes them shoot each other by accident. The next day, Miss Blind gets harassed by some creeps, so Melvin comes to her rescue. After which, he takes her out on a date. Melvin and Miss Blind eventually fall in love with each other, so they wrestle their muscles without a warm-up kiss. Despite becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, Melvin still feels the urge to kill people who commit evil. The next day at the gym, Melvin terrorizes Blondie and chases her after her blonde hormones in a hectic sequence. Meanwhile, Bully gets restless when Blondie fails to show up with his car because he wants to drive something. Funky spots an innocent old woman with a classic Japanese car, so he convinces Bully to beat her up and steal her car. Bully and Funky are proud of their evil achievements, but Melvin shows up and goes after the boys by jumping onto the car. It doesn't take long for Melvin to kill Funky by simply choking him with one arm. After this, he gets inside the car to attack Bully. In a messy driving sequence, Bully crashes the car into everything and everyone. He asks Melvin to give him the wheel, so Melvin takes it literally and rips out the steering wheel for Bully. Eventually, the car gets into a lethal accident, and Bully dies from the burns, while Melvin walks out of it unharmed. Now Melvin goes to a dry cleaner and kills a seemingly innocent dwarf woman with the steam iron, while the store owner begs a cop outside not to give him a ticket. The news starts to cover this incident because it does not fit into Melvin's killing agenda. At night, Miss Blind reads a braille book and gets scared when Melvin abruptly shows up. He reveals himself to be the monster hero and says that he can't stop killing because he has gone out of control. However, Miss Blind says she loves him and they should go on vacation. Melvin likes this idea, so he puts on a disguise and tries to escape with her. Meanwhile, Mayor Fatty learns that the dwarf woman Melvin killed was actually a slave ring operator. Despite this, Mayor Fatty decides to use this as an excuse to get rid of Melvin and continue his evil sins without any disturbance. The public doesn't like this decision because they want Melvin to continue saving them from crime. Now, the cops get to work and use their sniffer dogs to locate Melvin, along with Miss Blind inside a tent. They inform Mayor Fatty about this, so he calls up the governor and asks for help with the National Guard. The governor orders Mayor Fatty to capture Melvin alive instead of killing him, but Mayor Fatty has no intention of doing so. Eventually, the National Guard and the city folk gather around Melvin's love tent, and then Mayor Fatty shows up, flexing his fat stomach in front of everyone. He maintains that he wants to kill Melvin despite opposition from the city folk, including Melvin's mother. Mayor Fatty summons Melvin out of his love tent and prepares to shoot him, but luckily, none of the city folk allow him to kill Melvin. Mayor Fatty doesn't care about their sentiments, so he shoots at Melvin, but it's of no use as the bullets can't stop him and his mutated muscles. Now Melvin punches Mayor Fatty and rips out his greasy guts, ending his stomach-flexing life. All the evil of the city finally gets purified. The movie ends with Melvin uniting with Miss Blind and walking toward a brighter future with the city folk. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.